Hi, welcome to today's video. My name is Paul. So this week I'm going to talk about the artist you can see on the screen on the left. Her name is Paula Modersohn-Becker. That might be the wrong pronunciation, but that's what I'm going with. She's one of those artists that unfortunately died young, so we never got to see what her full potential could have been, what the type of art she might have produced as a mature artist. I say she was only 31 when she died. Unfortunately, it was about 18 days after giving birth. I don't know if the two things were connected. From what I've read, she died of a cardiac embolism. Should also say at this point, you're going to see me doing some watercolor landscape painting in the background. It's absolutely nothing to do with what I'm talking about. It's just something to watch. This is YouTube, so it needs to be a video, so it's just something to watch in the background. Okay, back to Paula. Paula, when she died, she was pretty much a completely unknown artist, and she died in poverty, alone pretty much. So these days, unfortunately, in society, a lot of people would consider her a loser, a failure. If you're not rich, if you're not famous, well, then you're just a failure. You didn't succeed in life. It's an attitude that, well, let's just say I disagree with. I'm trying to keep this family friendly, so I won't say what I really think of that opinion, but I don't agree with it. One of my favorite movies is a movie called Little Miss Sunshine. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. Definitely worth watching. It's not really a family friendly movie. Some of the language and things, some of the themes are pretty real. It deals with things that, well, real life sort of thing. So it is a bit of a comedy, but a darkish comedy. Anyway, one of the main themes in that movie is the whole idea of success and failure and winners and losers and what all of that means to different people. That's it. It's I think a very interesting movie. Anyway, let's say Paula might be considered a failure by some people, but we'll look at a little bit of her life and what she did. So, like a lot of people, I guess, in those days, she got married young. At least these days we'd probably consider it young, but I think in those days a lot of people were married in their late teens, early 20s. And that's what happened to her. But she, I guess somewhat scandalously for the time, she left her husband. Not because he abused her or was involved in affairs or anything like that. Well, not as far as I know. She just, I think, got bored of the marriage and decided that that's not the life that she wanted. She did keep a journal during her life, and in the journal it's just the one sentence. She just says, "I want to live my own life." So that's what she did. She packed her bag and she moved to Paris and became an artist. I guess this is what she had always wanted to do, was to make art. And she faced a lot of problems with poverty and loneliness and all of those sorts of things. But she kept going. She made her own art. She made a lot of art. And she was particularly interested in the early days of modern art. She was particularly interested in Cézanne and his paintings. So she was aware of the rules, if you like, of classical art, academic art, but she chose not to follow those. Instead, she was more interested in this sort of modernist movement, or at least the early days of modern art. She also, she had a real energy when it came to painting. She reminds me of Vincent van Gogh in that sense. So in 14 years that she lived as an artist, she produced over 700 oil paintings. That's at least one painting a week on average, and thousands of drawings as well. And those are the ones that survived. There may have been other art that didn't survive. I don't know. Like I say, she did die in obscurity, but was later rediscovered. And people then realized that actually she was a pioneer of modern art. She's often labeled as an expressionist artist, but she was making this sort of modern expressionist art long before anybody else, really. She really was a pioneer of those early days of modern art. So if you're interested in modern art, if you're interested in expressionism, if you're interested just basically in art and what it means to be an artist, Paula Modersohn-Becker is definitely somebody worth studying. And just for basic inspiration as well as an artist, definitely worth reading up about her. I've heard, I don't know if it's true, that the first art museum dedicated to a female artist was dedicated to Paula and her artwork. So fortunately these days people do realize that she was an important artist in the modern art movement. If you made it this far in the video, thank you for watching and listening. Hopefully see you again in next week's video.